This is Gabriela on the scene today with Talk Network Radio. We have a real treat for you just around the corner, and that is Empowered Living with Jeff Byrd. Jeff is the owner of Jeff Byrd Coaching, and he will be coming to you weekly to teach you more about empowered living. Now, let's join Jeff already in the studio.
Hello and welcome. I'm Jeff Byrd with Jeffrey Byrd Coaching, and this is Empowered Living. So glad that you joined me today. I'm a coach, I'm a speaker, I'm a trainer with the John Maxwell team, and I love building people. I love building individuals, I love building teams, I love building leaders, trying to continually build myself in those areas as well. And today I've got a topic that I think is going to really resonate with a lot of folks, and the topic is called personal energy conservation, right? Understanding your limitations. Now, when we think about energy conservation, we think about a lot of that's been in the media lately and a lot of causes that are going on. We're looking for eco-friendly, renewable energy sources now, right? We want renewable sources because a lot of the traditional means that we have are not renewable, and they do a lot of damage to the planet. And if we damage the planet, we damage ourselves, right? Because we are dependent on this planet. But I use that as an illustration, not because I want to talk about renewable energy commodities, but I want to talk about the personal energy commodity and how to conserve it and renew it. So, first thing I want everybody to know, and this is especially for you people who might be overachievers or who might just feel so much responsibility for so many people and so many things that you find it hard to turn it off. You just can't flip that switch and turn it off and relax your mind, relax your body, relax your soul. You just don't know how to do that. But I want to talk about a couple of ways that can help you in thinking into this. And the first one is we want to think about people related to our energy, and then we want to think about our activities, our events related to our energy. And we want to manage this energy so that we're not always at the bottom of the barrel, just running out of resources, just scraping along, not doing very well, always feeling tired and exhausted. That's not much of a way to live, right? Wouldn't you agree with me on that? That doesn't sound like a good way to live. We're not meant to thrive on exhaustion. But yet, how many people do you know, and be honest about yourself too, how many people do you know that just feel exhausted a lot of the time? It might be physically. For many, it's emotional. There's just emotional exhaustion. You just don't ever feel like you've got enough to keep up with the things you need to do and to perform your responsibilities and to make everybody happy. That's a draining one right there. You just kind of feel exhausted. So I want to look at the relationships that you have first, and I want to talk about energy vampires. I know a lot of people who are exhausted, and I've been this person, so I'm speaking from experience, who are exhausted because they spend a lot of time and maybe feel obligation towards other people who are energy vampires. Now, how do you know if you're around an energy vampire? Well, you may not recognize it right away, but they leave you drained and exhausted, having accomplished little to nothing. Right? You can spend a lot of time around them, and instead of being encouraged and wow, moving forward and empowered, when you leave them, you're like, oh my gosh, boy, I'm just wiped out. Boy, I just need a break. When you think about what you accomplished, well, we didn't accomplish a thing. We didn't accomplish anything while we were together. We didn't move forward at all. We're kind of moving backwards slowly. But the reason for that, a lot of the reason for that is they demand your energy focus on them. You've been around that person and you're not looking forward together. It's not like you're in a beautiful scene, just both looking at it, enjoying it and appreciating it together, and it's renewing. No, you have to turn away from where you want to look, where you want to go, where you're headed, and you have to focus on them. And every time you bring up a different topic, they tie it back to themselves, and you have to focus on them again. You have to listen about them. Everything reminds them of them, right? They're not looking forward with you and going, okay, where are we going together? How do we help each other get there? What do you need? How can I help you? And back and forth. You have to constantly focus on them. You have to forget about where you're headed and where you need to be going and put all of your energy focused on them. Otherwise, they're not going to have it any other way. You have to focus on them. The next thing is, a lot of these energy vampires, they make mountains out of molehills. Little things that shouldn't be big issues, they have to be discussed, commented on, energy spent on them. They're little things. They don't have a momentum that helps them move past all those little things. Like one of my mentors, John Maxwell, says, he goes, if you've got a locomotive, a fully loaded locomotive, and it's barreling down at full speed, it can smash through a 5-foot concrete wall and keep on trucking. If you've got a stationary train and you put a 5-inch wall in front of it, it's not going to move. It's not going to be able to get going because of that little 5-inch wall. So many people who aren't clear on their purpose, aren't moving forward, they take little things and they make really big issues out of it. And if you're around that, you're like, oh my goodness, I can't believe we're still stuck on that little thing. Let's get moving, right? Let's get the show on the road, my dad used to say. Let's get this show on the road. Let's just stop sitting around here talking about it and get going somewhere good. Another thing that's kind of akin to that is that they spend undue amounts of time getting basic things done, right? It's like, this thing doesn't have to take that much time. Let's just do it and let's move on. Okay, now that sounds like a type A person, but let me tell you, there's a lot of little things that can consume tons of time. They're not really that important and they're not that urgent. They have to be done, but let's just move through them. Let's just assign a little time, get it done, and then move on and stop just obsessing over the same little basic thing. Oh my gosh, that needs to be done. Oh my gosh, that needs to be done. Oh my gosh, I feel so bad. I haven't got that done. Well, just get it done. Just get it done and get that off your plate so that you can focus your energy on other important things. And one of those important things is taking some time for you. Another thing that they often do is they make basic things seem like big tasks. And, I've thought about this a lot. It's like, oh my gosh, boy, I'm so busy. I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And it's like, those are little things. You're not spending much time really moving forward and doing any really important things because like Jim Rohn, I love that guy. He's been gone for some years, but he was a fabulous man and personal development trainer. And he said, don't major in the minors. Don't major in the minors. Don't make your major focus minor things. Don't take the minor things and make them into major things and then act like you've done something major. And I think that's why a lot of people do that. I think they want to give the impression that they're making progress when they're actually standing still. They don't know what to really do, what's really important. So they just take the little things and they make them like big things. Oh my goodness, I've been so busy doing all these minor things. They major in the minors. We don't want to do that. We want to major in the majors and just knock out the minors as quickly as possible. Because we can get a lot of energy drain just on a lot of little trivial, mundane activities. We just want to get those done or delegate them if possible as quickly as we can so we can get back on track with the really important thing. Otherwise, boy, it's a drain. It's a drain. Another thing that's characteristic of energy vampires is that when you're trying to move forward, it feels like you're dragging them somewhere they don't want to go. Right? Can I get an amen? If you've been there, you're trying to get something done and move forward, and it feels like they're not helping you. They're not like, like back in the day, they used to plow with oxen, and they would have a yoke of oxen. That was 2 oxen plowing together. And so the load is like cut in half because there's 2 of them doing the same job. No, this feels like you're doing the job and you're dragging dead weight behind you, right? We call that sometimes hit the ball and drag Charlie, hit the ball and drag Charlie, hit the ball and drag Charlie. Well, after a while, you just want to hit Charlie. Right? Because Charlie's not pulling his weight. You're pulling Charlie. So that will wear you out. That is a huge energy drain to try to drag somebody somewhere they don't want to go. Sometimes I get contacted by organizations and they say, we're going through some change and we need some help with motivation because some of the people who have been here, what do they usually say? For a long time, they don't want to change. They just want to keep doing it the same way they've done, but that way is not working. So now the people who are trying to move forward, they're dragging all the rest of those people behind. Yeah, you know how fun that is, right? Yeah, not much. Because they value sameness. They value sameness, keeping things the same over change. So, again, you're trying to go forward and they're trying to go back. So it feels like if you're doing that, you're not making much progress. Maybe it feels like you're going backwards. But I tell you one thing, it will take your energy trying to do that. And I've known people, I've worked with some teams, and when I first met with them to try to find out how to help them, I found out, hey, there's one person on this team that's a problem person, and they're getting all the energy from their leader. I met with a woman one time, and she had heard me speak, and she wanted to get together and chat about her team, and so we did. We spent about an hour and a half together. And at the end of that hour and a half, I primarily listened, asked a few questions, excuse me, for clarification, ask a few questions. And at the end of that hour and a half, I asked her, I said, do you realize that we spent about 85% of our time today talking about one person on your team? She was shocked. She had no idea that she was that focused on that one person. I said, well, if that much of your energy is going toward that one person, what do you have for the rest of your team? Yeah, I mean, they get the scraps. They get the leftovers because all of your main focus has been on this one problem person. I gave her a few ideas of how to try to handle this. It didn't seem like a bad person she was dealing with. They just weren't. There was one area that was a compliance area. It was not optional that the person was really bad at. And because they were focused so much energy on trying to get past this issue, the whole team was being dragged. I said, well, maybe you can get her some help, or maybe there's another position that she'd be better equipped for, or maybe you just need to transition her off the team, period. So I didn't see this woman again for a couple of months, and we got back together again, and she said, hey, do you remember what we talked about last time? I said, yeah, sure do. And I said, how's that going? She said, unfortunately, I thought about what you said, and we didn't have another place to put her, and we couldn't take anybody else away from their jobs to help her, so we had to transition her off the team. I said, well, how's the team now that happened? How did they respond? And she said, oh my goodness, it's like we got a new team. The energy levels up, the encouragement levels up, the production levels up, because they're not dragging Charlie anymore. Their energy reserves aren't constantly being depleted by dealing with this same issue over and over and over, right? So we don't want to be dragging Charlie, right? We want to all be moving forward together. And if you've got those people on your team, and I know many other illustrations that other people have experienced too, where that's the same thing. There's one person, and boy, I tell you, one person, and you know this to be true if you've been on a team and had one of these people, one person can drag a team down far more quickly than a person can try to push it up. It's like, gravity. It's like gravity. It's a lot easier to go downhill than it is to go uphill, right? But everything worthwhile is uphill. So we want to make sure that we're not letting other people personally or in our organizations drag us down. If that's the case, even if they're really skilled at something, if they're having a negative impact overall, we need to address that and figure out either how to help them, replace them, put them in a different position, but we have to get rid of that influence in our own personal lives, especially first and foremost, and then in our teams and our organizations as well.
Jeff will be back shortly to wrap up today's message. This is Gabriela, still on the scene today with Talk Network Radio. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to Empowered Living with Jeff Byrd. If you've missed any part of today's message, you can hear it again online, as well as the entire archive of Empowered Living at www.talknetworkradio.com or search keyword #Empowered Living. We would like to acknowledge our music partners, Sound Ideas for Corporate to the Max, and Kevin MacLeod for Airport Lounge. Any scriptures read during this broadcast are from the New American Standard Version of the Holy Bible. If you would like to learn more about Jeffrey Byrd Coaching, visit www.jeffbyrdcoaching.com. That is JEFFBYRD coaching.com. Do a Facebook search for @CoachingRocks or drop Jeff a line at Jeff